What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dolce Diet channel, which we now call the big sister channel of Mike Dolce Knows. And if you have not yet, guys and gals, definitely jump over to the brand new Mike Dolce Knows channel on YouTube. And thank you. We just blasted past our first 1,000 subscribers. So hop on over there and be one of the first 10,000 subscribers on the Mike Dolce Knows channel. We are headed towards 100,000 subscribers, and that is all fueled by you. Mike Dolce Knows is for you. Quick hits and short clips of videos guaranteed to add value to your life. Now, speaking of value, today on Finance Friday, every Friday, usually at 11 a.m., but I had to get my teeth cleaned and I had some dental stuff going on. So today we pushed it until 3 p.m. today, but every Friday we put out finance-related videos. And today I wanted to talk to you about what to do during war. I mean, it's crazy that we're even having this conversation, but here we are, and we have to face it head on. War has broken out over in the Ukraine. The superpower that is Russia has invaded Ukraine territory for reasons which we can only speculate on. Exactly why Vladimir Putin has taken armed forces across the border and is now legitimately in combat with the Ukrainian people, we can only speculate. And there's a lot of reasons out there. That's for another time in another network. But what I wanted to discuss with you is, what do we do with our money, our livelihood, our future? So this is a very important time, ladies and gentlemen, when there is geopolitical chaos, when things are happening around us. The most important thing is to shore up your own holdings. Like, what do they tell you on the airplane? If there's any sort of issue on the plane, the first thing you need to do is put that oxygen mask on yourself first. No matter who you're traveling with, you got your kids, you got your spouse, you have your elderly parents, whomever it might be. The first thing you need to do is, well, you need to shore up your own reinforcements. And that's what I wanted to talk to you today about. So I'm going to share with you what I'm doing. This is not financial advice. I am not a certified financial planner. I'm not a certified financial accountant. I am not a licensed financial anything, right? Well, I used to be a certified municipal tax assessor working in real estate taxation and valuation. So I do have some knowledge here, but the knowledge I share is simply anecdotal, and this is for information purposes only. Please do your own research, do your own due diligence, and hire a certified financial planner or certified public accountant before making any financial moves. That being said, what to do now when the world is in flux? We've seen the stock market correct. Are we in a recession? Are we in a correction? Are we in a crash? We don't know yet. Bitcoin and the crypto markets are all crashing. They're 40, 50, 60% below their recent all-time highs. If you bought Bitcoin at 50 or 60, guess what? You lost almost half your money in the last 4, 5, 6 months, right? If you started investing in the NASDAQ in December, guess what? You've lost 10, 15, 20% of your money. If you bought ARK Invest, one of the most profitable hedge funds in ETFs in the last 5 years under the management of Cathie Wood, the golden girl of Wall Street, well, you've lost 40 to 60% of your money. That is legitimate, and that is happening right now. If you recently started investing in the S&P 500, guess what? You're down. Whoa, like, Dolce, tell us something good. Well, here's the good thing. And I'm going to tell you again exactly what I'm doing. During these times of uncertainty, during these times of rising and falling stock prices, during these times of inflation, during these times of speculation, the best thing to do, in my opinion, which is exactly what I'm doing, is to continue purchasing. What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? Dolce, you just said the stock market is correcting, if not crashing. You said crypto is crashing. Like, that's crash, legitimate crash. The world events are, who knows what's going to happen. And you're standing here telling us to keep buying. Well, no, I'm not telling you to keep buying. I'm saying I will keep buying. And this is called dollar cost averaging. What is dollar cost averaging? Dollar cost averaging is methodically investing into a specific vehicle, whether that is an individual stock, whether that is a group of stocks, whether that is a sector of stocks, whether that is a stock index, right? So from the most individual, which could be, let's say, Tesla, to the most diverse, which would be the total stock market index, which is every single stock on the stock market. Well, I invest in that. I invest in a total stock market fund. I invest in an S&P 500 fund. I invest in an information and technology fund, not specifically the NASDAQ, but something very similar that has better returns and more beneficial expense ratios. And I'll share that at the end of this video if you want to hear the ones that I personally use. I'm happy to share that with you guys. Now, before we do invest, before we start dollar cost averaging, let's go back over some of the principles that we spoke about on previous editions of Finance Friday. Number one is you have to get out of debt. You have to get out of debt. If you are in debt, your boat is sinking. There is a hole in the boat and you are sinking. So if you are in debt, number one, you must get out of debt. Full stop. I don't want to hear about you investing in the stock market. I don't want to hear about you buying a new car. I don't want to hear about you upgrading your phone until you are out of debt. Did you know that 60% of Americans, 60% of Americans cannot afford a $1,000 emergency without jeopardizing their ability to pay their fixed bills in the following month? What does that mean? That means if the brakes go on your car, the muffler, the transmission goes, the water heater in your house, you get a tooth knocked out, and you have to pay $1,000, 60% of American adults between 18 and end of life, 60% cannot afford a $1,000 emergency expense without jeopardizing their ability to pay their fixed expenses in the following month. What is a fixed expense? Their shelter, their light, their heat, their electricity, their food. If you fall into this category, my friends, we have to fix that before you even think about investing. That's what I did back in my early years, back in my 20s. I was in debt. I just got married. My wife and I, we were in debt. And we fucking went balls out and paid off our debt. We lived so simply. We tightened that belt up so hard. There were no loops. There were no rungs. We aggressively got ourselves out of debt and finally got to zero. And once we got to zero, then we started to build our war chest, as I like to call it. Now, let's go back. I don't want to spend too much time and start asking questions in the chats, and I'll clear some of this up. So number one, you have to get out of debt, all debt, and very simply follow the debt snowball made famous by Dave Ramsey. List your debts, smallest debt to largest debt. Start paying off the smallest debt. Make minimum payments on everything else, maximum payments on the smallest, get that paid off, and roll that payment directly into the very next debt. And then roll that too. That's the snowball. So you gain this tremendous momentum. That's exactly what Brandy and I did to get ourselves out of debt. And it worked magically. By the way, magically. We wrote it on a piece of paper that hung in our little, it wasn't an office. It was like our kitchen that was like, had a desk right next to the table. And we had a piece of loose leaf paper ripped out of the copybook that was taped to the desk in front of us that had a list of every one of our debts, and we would just write them down and scratch it off as we were able to go through. So we as a team saw that momentum. But anyway, you get yourself out of debt first and foremost. Number two is you must have an emergency fund. When you're paying off the debt, the emergency fund should be $1,000. That is to cover car repair, home repair, or some sort of health issue. $1,000 maximum, no more, no less. You get the $1,000, and then every single penny goes to pay off your debt. Once your debt is paid off, then you build up your emergency fund. You make that larger. The first emergency fund should be 3 months of fixed living expenses. That is rice and beans and ramen noodles. Well, we don't do ramens here in the Dolce, but that can be rice and beans and whole eggs, we'll call it. 3 months of fixed expenses that covers your rent, covers your average electricity and heating bills, covers your gas to drive your car back and forth to work. And that's about it. 3 months to cover that. And then we aggressively start saving more money. Now we get into the wealth generation phase. And I'm not getting into home ownership and things like that. We'll speak into direct investment. Next week, I'll do a video on comparing real estate investment to other types of investment, primarily index funds, ETFs, or individual stocks. We'll talk about crypto also. I've been getting a lot of crypto questions recently. Investing in silver, brass, lead. Ryan, we'll talk about that too. Also, silver. What kind of silver? Silver that you can actually hold? Are you into a silver ETF, into a silver mine? There's different ways to diversify your silver, your gold holdings. And I would suggest a wide diversified holdings in such things. But we pay off our debt. We have that emergency fund. That 3-month emergency fund, that is if something catastrophic happens to you, the job goes out of business, there is a pandemic and you can't work in the government. What happened if the government didn't give stimulus? What would you have done if the government did not start printing money out of thin air and give you those free paychecks? What would you have done? You would have been in a bad way. If you had a 3-month emergency fund, well, guess what? You would have been okay. Now, that 3-month emergency fund, I would suggest holding that in a high-yielding account. There are high-yielding accounts. Let me see if I can actually find one for you if you guys are interested in that. Just hold on for 1 second here. Let me see, because I actually made this suggestion in a previous video, and I can probably pull it up for you. Secrets of... watch this. Back up the truck. All right, hold on 1 second. I'm almost there. No. How strong are you? $1,000. Three rules. Hold on, guys. We're almost there. I'm sorry. I know I had something here previously. I don't see it listed. That's actually... there we go. Beat the Bank. So I actually put this video out there. It was in Beat the Bank previously on one of these Financial Fridays. And let me throw this in for you. I'll throw this into the chat for you guys. If you are interested, you can take a look at this. Bam. All right, there you go. So when I was discussing this, I was saying that emergency fund, that 3-month emergency fund, you want to make some money on it. You want to earn interest on it, but you want it to be relatively safe. What do I like to use? I like to use a USDC account. The USDC is the US dollar coin. This is a cryptocurrency that is tied directly to the US dollar, dollar for dollar. So 1 USDC equals 1 US dollar. Fiat currency, US dollar, USDC cryptocurrency. No matter what the movement of the US dollar does, the USDC coin will move exactly the same way. But USDC coins will pay you a 9% yearly interest rate, which destroys the banks. That's why the video I did put out there was Beat the Banks. Actually, let me, that didn't go through very well, so... let me see if that goes through. Nope, that doesn't go through as well. I think that one actually went through better. This. All right, so that code works. You can see the link down there. I don't want to throw too much stuff in there. And then just check out the Beat the Bank video that I put out previously. Here, watch this whole video. I'll throw this up here for you guys. I can get back on topic here. All right. So I just put in the YouTube link for that video called Beat the Bank. Watch that video, whatever makes sense for you. I personally use this. It's a USDC account. It's through Voyager. I use a bunch of different crypto houses that actually help us transact with cryptocurrency, and you can exchange your fiat currency, blah, blah, blah. I talked about that all in the last video. Point is, you want to be making money on that emergency fund as it is sat there. You want that to be growing, not to be stagnant, because we're losing anywhere between 8 and 15% due to inflation right now, right? So if you have $100 to start the year, at the end of the year, you will have $85 due to inflation. Worst case scenario, we want to make some of that money back, and you can do that at a 9% rate of return using a USDC account. When you're using Chase Bank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they're paying you 0.01%. Crazy, right? 0.01, which is nothing. It's $10 on $10,000. It's absolutely nothing. So, point being, you want that emergency fund to grow. You want it to sit there. You want it to be safe. You want it to be liquid. You want to be able to pull it out almost immediately. I usually say within 72 hours, I want to be able to have access to that cash. Ideally, within 24 hours, I want access to that cash, but you don't need that cash immediately right now. I keep like no cash on me. I keep no cash in my house. I have no access to real cash. I like cash to be locked up somewhere. I don't want easy access to it, because what does that do? It takes away the ability to just use my debit card and buy something. There's limits on my debit cards. So I don't have the ability to just impulse buy. It's something I did long time ago, and I never lost that habit. So if I do want to purchase something that's a couple extra dollars, well, then I actually have to call the bank, have them unfreeze my card. Also, my card was stolen years and years ago. It was some like scam from a gas station. So I put security protocols on all of my cards, all of my family's cards. I have, these different things on there. So there's limits. So a couple $100 can't be spent without pre-authorization. I would suggest that, by the way. Call your bank. Your bank will set that up for you. But that being said, what do we do now? So now you've paid off your debt. You have your emergency fund. So if shit goes bad, now what do you do? Because you're still working, you're still making money, and you want to retire one day. You want to send your kids to school one day. You want to buy a house, a primary residence, or you want to maybe buy an investment property or a rental property or a vacation property. All great things that you should be focused on. Now what you do, this is where dollar cost averaging comes into the conversation. And let me jump over here to our financial calculator. So you can see this financial calculator here. And I basically want to show you the benefit of dollar cost averaging. Let's say you are 30 years old. And let's say you want to retire at 65 years old, which is a perfectly reasonable time to retire. But let's say you have $0 to your name right now, but you can dollar cost average. You can invest a couple dollars each month. A couple dollars is relative to the individual, but you can slowly invest and drip into a retirement account. You won't do a single lump sum. You will actually slowly invest money over time. And let's say right now that money is what? $500. The S&P 500 has returned an average rate of 12% per year. And we'll use that because it's easy math. So you have $0 right now. You can afford $500 per month to drip into your retirement investment vehicle, and you're going to get about a 12% rate of return. Boom. Well, now you got $3.2 million. And guess what happens during this 35 years? Guess what happens during this 35 years? Does anybody know? Well, let me tell you, there will be wars during that 35 years. The market will go up and it will go down during those 35 years. The stock market will be all over the place. The real estate market will be all over the place. We'll have a Republican Democrat. We'll have a Democrat president, Republican president, Democrat president. Who knows what will happen? The world will constantly change. Every 3 years, 6 years, 8 years, 12 years, 20 years, the world will constantly change. Conflict will happen. The roller coasters will go up and down. Tax laws will change. All of it will change over time. But guess what won't change? You will not stop investing a small percentage of your take-home income into validated, time-tested investment vehicles. There's no better investment vehicle than the United States stock market. Full stop. There is no better investment vehicle than the United States stock market. full stop. And I can say that because we have 100+ years of results to analyze. And we know statistically speaking, over a 3-year period of time, the S&P 500 has made you money 80+% of the time. Over a 5-year period of time, the S&P 500 has made you money 100% of the time. So if you have more than 5 years to invest into the S&P 500 or the broader total market index, you will make money, statistically speaking. Statistically speaking, that's what has happened. Therefore, we can project that will likely happen into the future. That being said, this is where dollar cost averaging matters, regardless of geopolitical conflict, as sad as it is, and as much as my heart goes out to anyone and everyone who is affected by what's going on around the world, we must also reinforce our own homes, our own financial structures, because tomorrow you have to wake up and go to work and your children will need to eat. And 5, 10, 15 years from now, guess what? Your children will need to go to school. They will need a health care. They will need a roof to be over their head, as will you, as will your spouse. You will need to provide for yourself and your family when you wake up tomorrow and every day thereafter moving forward. Therefore, regardless of what happens in the world, you must prioritize your financial stewardship. And that's why Financial Fridays is so important, to have these conversations with you. And much of what I say, I will be reinforcing the very same principles over and over and over and over again, as these principles are evergreen. If I were to sit in the room with Warren Buffett, I would listen to him tell me the same exact story, 100 different ways of how he became one of the world's most wealthy and successful investors. His story does not have that many surprises. It's going to be the same damn story told 100 different ways with the exact same plot line. And that's exactly what I'm sharing to you. That's what dollar cost averaging is. And dollar cost averaging is not chasing the new shiny object. It's not chasing the new SPAC. It's not chasing the newest Dogecoin. Dollar cost averaging is investing in proven, tried and true investment vehicles. In my opinion, there are no better investment vehicles than the U.S. stock market. I diversify much of my holdings through the total stock market index, the S&P 500 index, and an information and technology index. These are ETFs, exchange traded funds, also index funds. I use Fidelity, I use Vanguard, I use Charles Schwab. I do like diversification. I use 12 different accounts for the point of diversification. I have my 401k. Through my business, a Roth 401k through my business. So does my wife. I have a Roth IRA. I have an IRA. I have 529s for my children. Those are all, I have an HSA, right? These are all different types of accounts that I use, my wife uses, now and our children also use. We have Utmost set up for our children. Our children also have their own Roth IRAs because they do have earned income, which is something I did a video on previously, just to give you an idea. We also have what we call bridge accounts. We have accounts that are specifically designed to allow us to buy real estate down the road. These are dollar cost averaged in from our paycheck. When we get our paychecks on whatever day or week of the month, some of that money is automatically dripped into these other investment accounts that save for a piece of property that we can hopefully purchase down the road, whether it's an investment property or a vacation property or whatever the heck that might be. These are all automated. It's all dollar cost averaging, and it's all extremely easy to do. If you take 1 hour, you sit down at the computer and you just simply set up these accounts. Next week, I will actually do a video on some of the easiest brokerage houses to use with the least expenses, the easiest UX, user experience, the easiest ways to do this, something for you to look into, right? I want to break that down for you. But to close this, before I answer your questions, what do you do during the time of crisis? You do the same thing when things are good. When things are good and when things are bad, I do the same thing. I dollar cost average into all of my investments. I take a little bit, a little tiny bit, a single digit percentage of my liquid, disposable, investable cash. And I do play just a little bit over on the crypto side, the tiny little bit. And guess what? All of my crypto holdings are down now. All of them are down now, but my crypto holdings and my speculative thesis on cryptocurrency is it is going to be down more often than it's up. But over the next 5, 10, 20 years, it will dramatically be higher than when I have dollar cost averaged into it. So maybe 2 weeks from now, I'll do a crypto. If anybody has crypto questions, I'm happy to answer any of those. So I will close this now and I'll jump in and answer your questions. Ali, what's up, Ali? F you, Ali. Amir, all badged up, baby. Looking good, my man. I invested in Vanguard VOO index recently, down a little, but not worried. I have VOO also. I have VOO, VTI, and VGT. I have a couple others in the Vanguard family. Like I said, I have Fidelity, I have Charles Schwab, VOO, VTI, VGT. Those are my 3 favorite. VOO is the S&P 500. VGT is Total Stock Market Index, or VTI, Total Stock Market Index, and VGT is their information technology, which is similar to the NASDAQ, but I believe it's better, in my opinion, than NASDAQ. Amir, good for you. My opinion, keep going. Lauren S., thanks for the wide range of helpful topics. You got it, Lauren. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. I've been investing in silver, brass, and lead. I'm with you, man. I got my lead holdings are very high, if anyone understands what lead means. It's funny. I use up my lead as often as I bring it in, though, right? I'm always at the range these days. Finance Fridays, baby. Let's get it. Mike, I think a big thing to bring up is a side hustle or some type of other income stream. I'm getting into videography and photography business. Let's work. Hell yeah, Paul P. That's awesome, my man. I agree with you. That side hustle, that goes back to number 1, which is getting yourself out of debt by creating as much income as possible, dramatically reducing your outflow and dramatically increasing your income, getting yourself out of debt and getting that war chest built. I agree with you, Paul. Nowadays, the 40-hour work week is not enough, people. We need to realize that. Fair point. And also, you want your money to be working when you are not. Cowboy says, Boston Lloyd passed. Very sad. Yes, I would suggest that you guys go to the Mike Dolce Knows channel. And I actually did a video today on the passing of Boston Lloyd. That's this video right here. Inside the gym. I suggest you guys go check out the Mike Dolce Knows channel. Watch this video. As soon as this video is over, I'll remind you at the end of the video, go to the Mike Dolce Knows channel. Watch this video on Boston Lloyd. I destroy the world of bodybuilding. I have a lot of controversial things to say about bodybuilding, and I call them out. I call many of them out by name, actually. It's very sad to see what happened, what he did to himself. It's unfortunate. Milan, why does Amir Khan have such a bad chin? Is it possible to improve a chin, as I heard it? You know, Amir, he didn't always have a bad chin, but once your chin goes, it's gone. Chuck Liddell, same thing happened to him. Who else? Cody Garbrandt, same thing happened. It happens. It's not a disrespect to the individual. It happens. Why does it happen? Nobody really knows. There's a lot of hypothesis, but there's no true meaning. Nobody really knows. I think Amir should retire. Lauren, trying to buy a house within the next 2 years, and the big goal is to have at least 1 investment property by the time I'm 30. Hell yeah, Lauren, that is aggressive. Good for you. I love it. You want that first house, in my opinion, you want that to be cash if possible. Cash if possible. Cash if possible. All real estate cash if possible, but that should be the goal, even if it means you start with something slightly smaller. If you start with something slightly smaller that you can get into for slightly less money and you have equity in, then you can use that property to leverage yourself into another piece of property. And Lauren, I'm happy to answer any of those questions too, by the way. Billy K, I took your advice and added auto deductions to my new Fidelity index funds. Boom. Thank you for your guidance. Hell yeah, Billy. Getting wealthy, my man. I freaking love it. Financial independence, baby. Richard, would love to get your help pricing out my golf coaching programs for 2022. 6-week programs, group sessions, hour packages, etc. Thoughts? Well, Richard, number 1, what is the going rate for a coach that does what you do? I would do a market analysis. Who are your closest competitors? I would look and say, what do they charge? What do they offer? Can I come in? And I don't want to be the most expensive, and I don't want to be the least expensive. I want to come in the higher expense range. I want to be one of the higher priced professionals in my niche, and I want to provide more value to my clientele than everyone else, right? That's the way I run my real estate also. I don't want to charge top dollar to get people in. I want people to be able to get in at a higher relative price, but lower than top of the market, provide extra service. So now I have rental security. I know that they're going to be in my properties for 3 years or more. And I know that they're going to make their rental payment every single month, right? That's a much better way to do it, in my opinion. Amir, I'm the only provider in my family making $52K a year. Unfortunately, I can only invest a small amount, but it's so hard to pay down school and car debt. I also have to buy a car for my wife. Well, the car you buy for your wife must be in cash. And what I would do if I'm you, I would probably give my wife the better running vehicle, and I would buy the beater for myself that I got to use my Flintstone feet sometimes to move. That's exactly what I did, by the way. Brandy had a 2005 Kia Spectra that we did buy for $12,000 brand new, which, and anybody knows that's like nothing. It had manual windows, like we had to roll down the windows, manual locks, no CD player, right? That's the car Brandy had, but that was the new car, the economical car we were able to cash flow and buy for her. And I drove a $1,200 1992 Buick Regal, right? So, Amir, to you, man, do not only buy the car for her for cash. You have a car payment. What is the car payment? What is your car worth? Can you sell your current car? Probably you can sell your car for more than it's worth. I would look, and I don't know, if you want to tell me exactly what you owe in your car, exactly what it's worth, how much exactly you are in debt, I'm happy to run through that exercise for you guys. And actually, if you guys, well, under this video, when this video posts, you actually have the ability to send me a video question now, which is awesome. So after this video, when this video posts, you'll actually see in the description that you can actually text me. I give you the phone number, text me the word YouTube so I can put you into the YouTube group, and then send me a 30-second video asking me a specific question that I will be answering on future episodes, which is awesome. It's a great way to have more interaction. But Amir, to you, once again, let's say you have a car, it's worth $10,000, you owe $8,000 on it. I would sell that car most likely for the $10,000. I would get that $2,000, and then I would buy a car for $2,000. And then I would look to buy one for your wife for $2,000. Now you're no longer $8,000 in debt. You have two cars that are worth $2,000, and eventually you can lever up those cars. You can drive around a $2,000 car. You could sell it for a month, 2 months, 3 months later, throw an extra $500, $1,000 onto it, and buy a $3,000 or $4,000 car. Do that again 3 or 6 months later. Now you're in a $5,000 or $6,000 car. Do that again 6 or 12 months later. Now you're driving around in an $8,000 or $10,000 car. Hopefully that makes sense for you. Scenic Spotter, what's up, man? Are you spamming here? I think you're spamming here. Who you got, Bobby Green or Islam? Man, on paper you vote Islam. In my heart, I vote Bobby. I know Bobby. I'm friendly with Bobby. I like Bobby. I want to see Bobby do well. I don't know Islam. I think Islam's a good guy, though. Just tuned in. Freaking love Finance Friday. I love Finance Friday, too. It's a good time. Amir, I pay $480 a month for a 2016 Toyota Highlander. Bought it with my previous job, was giving me a car allowance, and that's why we never, ever, ever take out loans, because you bought it when your job gave you a car allowance. You lost your job. You're stuck with the car. Boom. That's what happens, and it's okay, Amir. I'm not mad at you, but that's what happens, and that's why we say we never go into debt. We never take out loans. We only buy things for cash. If I can't buy it for cash, I can't afford it. Full stop. I feel the same way about real estate, by the way, but that's a different conversation. So, Amir, why am I got that picture of my face here the whole time? I'm looking. I'm like, what the hell's going on there? Actually, I think that'll probably look a little bit better. Boom. So, $480 a month, bro. You're paying $480 a month. And here, how about this, guys and gals? I'm going to run a quick little exercise so you can see this in real time. Amir is paying $480 per month. And Amir, let me knock this down. Watch this. He has $0 right now, but he's paying $480 per month at a 12% annual return. If he stopped paying for his car and started investing $480 a month into an S&P 500 index fund, bam! That car you're driving right now, Amir, is worth $3 million. Did you just hear me? The $480 per month car payment that you're giving to Toyota, instead, you should be paying to yourself so you and your family can be multimillionaires in retirement. And this is the fraud that is perpetuated upon the average citizen. We are tricked to being consumers, to going into debt, to buy things we do not need, to pay for companies to constantly grow and get bigger. What I would do is I would buy a $1,000 or $2,000 vehicle, and I would be paying myself $480 a month into an appreciating S&P 500 index fund, paying me approximately 12% per year, which I know will grow to be over $3 million if I started when I'm 30 and stop when I'm 65. That is the value of compounding interest, and that is why the government and the car dealers and the banks and student loans, they want you to make payments so they can make the $3 million, and you end up with a depreciating asset. So Amir, hopefully this is very helpful to you, my friend. Milan, hey coach, is it true that female bodybuilders have to take gear to get in crazy competition shape? They have such a deep voices, borderline. Well, I won't say have to, but I will say mostly do. I know a lot of these young ladies, and a lot of these ladies hire us after their prep coaches destroy them, and we help put their bodies back together. I would strongly suggest these ladies never, ever, ever take androgens. Currently renting a house, but zero debt other than that. Any advice for saving for a house? Just a regular savings account. I'm currently just aggressively depositing into a savings each week. Lauren, what is your timeline? If you want to use that money within the next 3 years, then yeah, I would say a savings account or a high yielding money market fund, or possibly the USDC account, right? That USDC account that I just posted through Voyager. Look for that link up there. It is a USDC. So at least the money that you put into USDC, you will be making 9% interest. Do your own due diligence on that. That is what I use. I use different accounts such as that. I use 5 of these different crypto USDC accounts. I use Voyager. I use Celsius. What the hell else? I even forget what they are because I just said it and forget it. Those are their accounts. They're sat there. If I ever need a couple dollars, something happens, I got to, fix the boiler in my house, and I can just cash that out, deposit it right into my normal bank account, and I can use that money the next day. That would be a strong suggestion, Lauren. Aggressively put every dollar away. Talk to your significant other and be like, you know what? Let's not go out to dinner once a week. Let's not do this. Let's not do that. Let's do something else. Let's have another experience even more rewarding. And let's jointly, and I don't know, Lauren, hopefully you don't have commingled funds. I don't know if you're married or not. I don't want to get into any of that. Never commingle funds with anyone other than your spouse. Never sign a deed or purchase anything with anyone who is not your spouse. That is something that is important. If you are going to buy a house with your significant other, only buy that house when you are married. If you are not married, no problem. You buy the house and let them rent their space in your house for the same amount of money that they would have paid had they been a partial owner. Or they can buy the house. You can actually rent from them. God forbid things go the way sometimes things go. One of you can move out without all of the paperwork, legal mess. Ugh, horrible. Please. Lauren, hopefully that helps. But what is your timeline? Timeline helps. Amir, you owe $2,515 on a vehicle that's worth how much? That's a lot of money. Holy cow. Holy cow. A 2016. So that's a 6-year-old vehicle that you owe $24,000, we'll call it. I would get out of it. Now, I don't know how much money you make. Oh, you make actually 50 some odd K. Amir, please. I'm like Fred Sanford here. Let me stop this for a minute. Amir, now, ladies and gentlemen, rule of thumb, we should never, ever, ever own any toys. The totality of all of our vehicles combined should be no more than 25% of our take-home pay. That sounds crazy, Dolce. Not if you want to be wealthy, not if you want to be financially independent, for sure. So Amir, you're so great at giving us this information. Thank you. You're making, let's say, Amir, you're making 52 a year. Awesome. After taxes, that leaves you with what? Probably let's knock off 12 grand, 15, let's say 12 grand. That leaves you with 40 grand a year. That's $800 per week, right? $800 a week, $1,600 a month to live on. You're spending $480 a month on your car payment. My goodness. That's a lot. That's too much, my man. Imagine how much different your life would be if you were driving around right now in a $2,000 car to get you from point A to point B. And you, instead of paying Toyota $480 per month, you were just putting that into a bank account. Bang, 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 bang. That was growing due to compounding interest. You would be able to buy that car for cash in 2 years' time, trade in the car you're driving and buy it for cash. Strong suggestion, my friends. Steve, great question. Milan, listening to Dolce Sir spit knowledge and facts sure is a treat for sore eyes and ears. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'd love to go deeper. I wish I could talk to you guys. Like, I wish we could have a conversation. It's hard because I need more info. I wish I had more information. I wish I had more information, Amir. So like you and I could like work this out. I'd love to be able to work it out to you. Maybe there's a way we could figure that out. That maybe that's something that we can actually do. Let me work on that. There might be a way that actually we could do some like phone in or some like Skype in or something like that. Or I can probably set you guys up. I could set something up here. Let me think about this. Give me a couple days. That'll be awesome. But feel free to keep asking the questions here. What advice would you give to someone still at university for the best long-term financial future and to come out of education ahead of the game? Number one is no student debt, no student loans. Get out of school debt-free. Are you in loans right now? Did you take out loans? Man, stop taking out loans. Get a job. Work your ass off. Cash flow college. Cash flow college. College is one of the biggest freaking frauds in the world. How can they give children 17, 18, 19-year-old kids a loan for $100,000, right? They give kids, teenagers, loans for $100,000 that they will likely never even use, in that most people do not graduate and work in the field. They do not work in the field with which they went to school initially for, right? So it's a freaking waste. But anyway, you need to get out debt-free. Now, easy ways to do this. Number one, let's say you're not in school yet. Go to the junior college and get your associates. Then go to a state school after that. State school, in-state tuition. Don't live on campus. Let's live at home. Use a little bit of gas money going back and forth. You can, most state schools, anywhere between like, I don't know, $5,000 and $15,000 per year, depending on what the school is. Rutgers, I think, is $12,000 per year. That's the state school of New Jersey, right? Monmouth University, which is a private institution, is $50,000 per year. These are just two local schools. So I got young kids. We're starting to look right now. Holy shit. We send our kids to Rutgers for 12 or 15K. They can live at the house, drive back and forth, or we can send them to Rutgers for 40 or 50K. Like, yeah, guess where they're going? Well, we have 529 set up for them, so they can really go anywhere that they want to, thank goodness. But anyway, Sam, cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Do not take student debt to buy yourself nachos and beer, right? Because you're going to pay that off for the rest of your life. California, you got it. Lauren, no commingling here, so I'm safe there. Good for you, Lauren. Smart young lady you are. Aiming to save for 2 years, but I'm not in a huge rush for the house. I've been taking notes, but I'm saving this video for later too. Thanks so much, Lauren. Absolutely. And depending on what you want to do, I don't know what market you're in. The market matters. Do you have access to condos or townhouses? Those, especially for a young lady to get yourself into a condo in a good market, a townhouse in a good market, those appreciate. They are easy to resell and they are easy to rent out. They are a great way to get into at a much lower price. You can get, depending on where you live, you can get in the condos for 30K, 50K, 100K. Some condos are like $500,000, depending on where you live and what your, tastes are. That is another thought. And there's a lot less work, personal work that goes into it, a lot less that goes wrong, just as a thought. I don't know where you are, what market you're in, but that's a thought to get into it, get your first starter home, and then you lever up. Because as soon as you buy into it, guess what? And if you buy it for cash, you do not have rent payments anymore. you don't have rent payments anymore. So now you can save what you're saving, plus you can start saving the rent payment as the condo appreciates in value. So you have the condo, it has 100% equity, and then it's appreciating in value as you're saving more money. Usually you can go from a condo, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 years after that, you can then take all the money that you've saved, the rent that you don't have to pay, now you're paying yourself the rent, plus the money you were previously saving to buy the condo in the first place, plus you have all the money from the condo itself, plus the money that the condo has appreciated. But boom, now you can then take that and lever up and buy something else, and then lever up and buy something else. A lot of different ways to do it, Lauren. I'm very proud of you. That is freaking awesome. Thanks for the advice. Amir, happy to help. I'm currently 27, Milan says. 27-year-old guy doing my master's with plenty of backlog papers. Whenever I am low on motivation to prepare for exams, I turn to Coach Dolce's channel. Thank you. I'm in your corner every step of the way. We need smart individuals out there, but no debts, no loans, right? That's the way we do it here. Amir, I'm definitely looking to sell it. I hate seeing the 480 leave my bank every month. Right now, go on Kelley Blue Book, find out what the true value of your car is. Go on Carvana, see what they will buy it for. Go on CarMax, see what they will buy it for you. Right now is a great time. I'm probably going to sell my Jeep. I have a beautiful, beautiful Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, all blacked out, leathered out. It's awesome. Been driving it since 2000. I bought it summer of 2019. I freaking love it. I love it. I'm probably going to sell it because I can actually get more money, and I bought it for cash. I can get more money right now to sell it than what I actually bought it for. I beat them up at the dealership, by the way, but still, I'm probably going to sell it, and then I'm going to take that cash and figure out, now what am I going to do? I'm using that to lever up, right? So I'm right there. I'm taking my own advice right now. I don't have to, it's paid off, right? But I know the value, and I know in time that car, the value will keep depreciating. Right now, we just have this benefit of the used car prices and the chip shortage and the supply issues. It's a great time to sell your used car. I'm probably going to sell mine. Anybody want to buy a beautiful black on black Jeep Wrangler Unlimited? It's got the hardtop already on it. We got the awesome, I think they're called barrel doors all the way around. It is a pimp car. If you want to buy Uncle Mike's Jeep, I might even drop it off at your house, depending. Shoot me a message. Zoom, call, all badged up for members. Bam, Billy K in the house. All badged up. Hey, Coach, are you from LA? No, I'm in New Jersey. How dare you say such a thing to me? I'm just kidding. LA joke. But I lived in Portland, Oregon 4 or 5 years. I lived in Huntington Beach, California, which is a suburb just outside of LA, about 45 minutes south of LA. I lived there for a year. Then I lived in Las Vegas for almost 9 years. Sam, you got it. Milan. On a veterinary degree. Ooh, veterinarians make bank, baby. So we'll definitely be using mine since I qualify safely. I had to take some loans out in the UK, so looking at around 60K by the end. That's not terrible. I would work my ass off right now if I'm you to get out of debt. While you're in school, work every single job you can tirelessly. Work so much, you have no time to spend money. That's one of my sayings. I work so much, I have no time to spend money. That's the goal. By the end, but working part-time plus no fast food for me. Sam, you're killing it, man. I know you are. You're always here on this channel. You're always crushing. You always make good decisions, man. I'm proud of you. All right, guys and gals, I think that's it. I appreciate you guys. Remember, if you have not, I want you to jump on over to the Mike Dolce Knows channel and watch the video I just put out earlier on Boston Lloyd. This is a young bodybuilder who passed away at 29 years old. Boom. I just put it in the chat. Watch this. Go watch that. And I want you to listen to the video. Listen to what this young man did. I call out the industry. I actually name very specific names in the industry who I believe are in part responsible for what is happening in bodybuilding. Athletes are dying in bodybuilding well below 50 years old. Heart attacks, kidney failure, horrible, horrific, untimely, unnatural deaths simply because of the bodybuilding lifestyle. That's what's been happening. Go and watch this video if you're interested in this. And I really tried to do my best to be sensitive, to, of course, Boston. He left behind a wife. He left behind a child. 29-year-old man dies due to the bodybuilding lifestyle. It is horrific. Hey coach, you should do a live stream one day with your entire family, Miss Dolce and the junior Dolces. That would be a fun. We will do that actually. That'll be fun. My girls, man, they will take over the camera. They are little hams. They are like, push me out of the way, and they grab the microphone. You know, they watch Ryan's World. They're 7 and 5. They watch Ryan's World. You know, we're very particular in what we allow them to watch. Of course, what apps we allow them. We're very, very particular in that. You know, some of those that we do, and they're naturals. You know, they see Daddy here doing what we do, and they understand, and we're cultivating that mentality in them. So they want to help kids be healthy. You know, that's their whole little mojo. It's super cute. But all right, guys and gals, I appreciate you all. Thank you all for being here. That's I got nothing. Just thank you all. Have a great weekend. And click that link below. If you want to send me a video, send me a video. It'd be so cool. Send me a 30-second video. Click the link below. All the details are there. I can answer your question live on air. It'll be like your video. Then I can like answer your question. It'll be super cool. Then I'll work on like a two-way conversation. Billy K, something like a Zoom. But anyway, until next time. Boom.